Picture a breezy, sunny day, towering oaks framing a green, peaceful meadow, a cardinal or two in the air, and a few black and yellow striped honeybees flying from flower to flower, collecting pollen and delivering it to a busy, thriving hive full of beautiful bees creating honey. The stinger of it is, the opportunities and challenges driving the agricultural community are complex and demanding. With 10 million hives being lost over the last 8 years, this picturesque setting is quickly disappearing. 30% annual bee colony losses are causing devastating effects to not only commercial beekeepers, but to the $19 billion worth of crops in the United States that depend on bees for pollination. Bee pollination is an essential component to over 100 different agricultural crops, and the industry is facing unprecedented challenges from the effects of the varroa mite. The varroa mite is a parasite that feeds on the adult and developing brood, weakening and shortening the lifespan of the bees. At a cost of $200 per replacement hive, commercial beekeepers' futures look grim. Secure Ag, an agrochemical company based in Atlanta, Georgia, has met the needs of agricultural producers through chemically based crop and livestock protection products since 1984. At Secure Ag, one of our missions is the creation of chemical solutions designed to advance bee health, contributing to world food security. Checkpoint is our comprehensive chemical delivery system designed to prevent and treat varroa mite infestations. This is a simple-to-use product offering easy installation through a permanent housing mechanism which fits onto the entrance of each hive. This permanent housing decreases labor cost along with decreased bee disturbance. A chemically infused polymer panel is inserted into the housing, allowing the bees to fly through a pre-established pathway that creates an easy application of miticide. This revolutionary design applies an accurate dosage of miticide to each bee as it enters and leaves the hive. Through a more precise application method, concerns about chemical toxicity to the bees are alleviated. Varroa mites have developed a resistance to any chemical previously used for an extended period of time. The Checkpoint system will alternate 3 separate chemicals annually to combat this problem with 99% effectiveness. Checkpoint is simple to install and will decrease labor costs, efficient due to an even, consistent application, and reliable because of precise treatment levels. Beekeepers in the U.S. will be buzzing about this simple, efficient, and reliable Checkpoint varroa mite mitigation system.
300,000 beekeepers in the United States manage the 2.6 million colonies nationwide. Whether these beekeepers specialize in honey production or focus on pollination services, they can be categorized under 3 primary groups: commercial, sideliner, and hobbyist. Commercial beekeepers depend on bees for the majority of their income. Sideliners typically manage 500 hives or less and do not rely on bee products or services as a primary source of income. As individuals, hobbyists manage the smallest number of hives but make up the largest group among beekeepers with an estimated 285,000 hobbyists in the United States. On the other hand, commercial producers are only 1% of the nation's beekeepers but make up an estimated 60% of the total industry.
Dominating our market share are commercial beekeepers who make up the total amount of hives in the nation. Due to their influence in the industry, commercial beekeepers act as primary innovators and early adopters when researching new products and methods. Commercial beekeepers are primary influencers, while hobbyists and silencers make up the industry's secondary market. Having identified some of our top bee producers of each region, Addy Honey Farms of South Dakota is the nation's largest beekeeper with an estimated 80,000 colonies.
Commercial beekeepers rely on relationships with independent distributors to receive beekeeping supplies and to find out about the newest products on the market. Contact with these independent distributors often occurs at conferences and trade shows around the country, along with direct farm visits. This contact allows commercial beekeepers and independent distributors to build and maintain strong relationships, allowing the independent distributors to become a reliable source of information.
Aside from direct contact with independent distributors, many commercial producers receive new product information from other producers who experience these new technologies or participate in test trials. This information will often trickle down to our industry's secondary market of hobbyist silencers via word of mouth.
Some primary sources of information that are predominant in the bee industry are magazines and publications, associations, and trade shows. Popular national-level magazines include the American Bee Journal, as well as Bee Culture Magazine, who reaches over 16,000 subscribers. Publications often come from local associations. For example, the Florida State Beekeeping Association publishes the quarterly newsletter, The Florida Beekeeper.
Associations are available on the national, regional, and local level and are a primary part of the beekeeping industry. The American Beekeeping Federation hosts the North American Beekeeping Trade Show and Conference, bringing the most up-to-date information to the beekeeping industry, as well as exhibiting the latest products and services. This conference will reach an estimated consumer base of over 600 beekeepers. The American Honey Producers Association also hosts an annual conference held in San Diego, California. Both of these organizations have long histories in the U.S. bee industry.
There are 3 key beekeeping regions in the United States. The Southeast region, in which our headquarters are located, includes 766 commercial beekeepers. Home to 3 of our 5 top bee-producing states, the North Central region is our largest market, with 1,279,000 colonies. Our third region, the West Coast region, includes 466,000 colonies and 624 commercial beekeepers.
The North Central region is our most concentrated market due to the low amount of commercial beekeepers managing large quantities of hives. Including the rest of our large bee-producing states, the Southeast and West are far less concentrated, as there are much more commercial producers managing much smaller operations. Though the West is farthest from our headquarters, its large almond industry makes it a major player in the bee industry. NPR has documented that this almond pollination season requires 61% of the total U.S. colonies for the 6-week pollination season.
Our 3 regions include 18 states and over 2 million hives. Within these 3 regions, we can target 84% of U.S. hives.
For our competition, we have assembled a chart that compares applications and the cost of various treatment options. As you can see, our cost for a pack of 10 is higher than our competitors. However, Checkpoint only requires 1 panel. This reduction in cost can be seen in our annual cost per hive of $11.17. This cost includes our permanent housing unit that's been depreciated over 3 years. Our 99% effectiveness has been achieved through the combination of our delivery method and our 3-chemical rotation. Problems with treatment options is that they are labor intensive. Most commonly used application methods involve using smoke to calm the bees. You then have to open the hive, remove the excluder, and place a competitor's tray or strip directly onto the frames, being certain to place them every 5 frames. You then have to reassemble the whole hive. Being certain not to harm any of the bees inside. Checkpoint is as simple as sliding the panel into the permanently installed housing unit. Labor and time is just a fraction of our competitors. Additional issues within the market include lack of control over miticide dosage, high toxicity to bees, resistance development, and number of applications. Specific issues within the market include Apigard, who requires twice as many applications than any of our other competitors, making it the most expensive option. Apivar requires a Section 18 emergency-only permit, which excludes it from several of our targeted states. Apistan was originally advertised at 97% effectiveness, but after being on the market for 34 years, is now only 40% effective. Sugar powder is a natural treatment often used by hobbyists for its low production cost and low toxicity. However, the number of treatments required make this method cost prohibitive for commercial producers. When analyzing internal as well as external factors of Checkpoint, our SWOT analysis revealed that Checkpoint addresses several issues within the market. Checkpoint requires fewer applications, lowering labor and application costs. With our 3-chemical rotation method, we have reduced resistance and improved our effectiveness on the Varroa mite. It is also less toxic and a controlled miticide dosage, which allows us to avoid special permitting requirements.
The introduction of Checkpoint does face some manageable obstacles in its path. We have the only product that has an initial cost associated with it. However, even with this initial expense, it is still the least expensive option. Like other miticides, our product is incompatible with organic certification standards. The new application method or the per package cost might be met with some opposition initially. We have planned to address these issues through the use of our promotional materials.
There are several opportunities within the Varroa mite prevention market. There is a need for a product that is reliable and can maintain its effectiveness on the Varroa mite. There is also a high demand to mitigate bee die-off and lower their death rate.
There are a few external factors that pose a threat to the adoption of Checkpoint throughout the industry. Our geographic regions are widely dispersed around the U.S. Also, the Dakotas, located in our north central region, do not have any conferences near them. Yet, direct mailings will help us gain exposure in this area. After gaining extensive knowledge on the current solutions available to beekeepers, we are certain we have the best solution to combat the varroa mite infestation. Secure Ag will provide a simple, efficient, and reliable varroa mite control method by launching Checkpoint, a complete miticide delivery system. We will meet existing demand by using our established position as an agricultural chemical supplier, capitalizing on existing relationships within the commercial beekeeping industry. Through market analysis, we were able to determine a conservative percentage of beekeepers that would adopt our product each year. By year 3, we will have 75% brand recognition within our target market. Our pro forma sales forecast has led us to set a reasonable goal of $5 million in sales by year 3. After our financial team projected our costs, we were able to set a profit margin of 35% by year 3. Our overall company standard is to maintain at least a 93% customer satisfaction rate. We have formed assumptions on 3 aspects of the industry. Beehives have the same standard size entrance, ensuring compatibility with our product. All beekeepers use the same on-label standard management techniques for miticide application, and due to the nature of the polymer used to fabricate the housing mechanism, the useful life is no less than 3 years.
For U.S. commercial beekeepers, Checkpoint will be the simple, efficient, and reliable solution for the treatment and prevention of varroa mites. Checkpoint consists of a bolt-on housing, which is permanently mounted to the front of the hive, that holds the interchangeable polymer miticide-infused panels. Each panel is manufactured with pathways that the bees pass through to enter and exit the hive that are designed to coat each bee with miticide. Secure Ag will control the chemical implementation by only releasing a specific chemical each year, giving consumers one option to purchase. This will eliminate any consumer error in implementing the rotation program. Checkpoint does not require any chemical or pesticide application licensing for use, and each panel is designed to be used for 42 days, both before and after honey flow season, effectively preventing and treating varroa mite infestations. Checkpoint will be manufactured by Atlanta Plastic Injection Molding at a cost of $1.38 per housing and 91 cents for replaceable panels. Both the panels and housings will be sold in convenient 10 packs following the industry standard, which will be packaged in clear plastic featuring the Checkpoint label and information. As an established manufacturer of beekeeping supplies, we will build upon relationships with independent distributors such as Data and Man Lake to ensure that Secure Ag products are sold at competitive market prices. Through our value-based pricing strategy, we have determined that Checkpoint will be made available to wholesale distributors at a cost of $5 per housing and $3.15 for replaceable panels. Our wholesale price allows for a competitive 30% markup and will make Checkpoint available to consumers at a cost of $6.50 per housing and $4.50 for replaceable panels. We will use J.B. Hunt's ICS brokerage service, which has no minimum quantity restrictions, to deliver our product to independent distributors. In year 1, our marketing efforts will focus in the Southeast, closest to our long-standing manufacturing and distribution facilities. Our rollout strategy will allow Checkpoint to enter the market and gain commercial beekeeper attention before we target our largest market segment in the North Central region in year 2. In year 3, our promotions will expand to the West Coast region, which contains the remainder of large commercial beekeepers.
Our promotional strategy is focused on ensuring product awareness in each of our 3 geographic regions by directly targeting our primary market, commercial beekeepers. Having completed test trial results with major commercial beekeepers, we can provide independent research which proves the safety and efficiency of our new system. Our dedicated sales representatives in each region will be instrumental in the success of our promotional plan. They will be visiting the largest producers in the industry, as well as maintaining relationships with independent distributors, who are the key to beekeeper supply sales. Additionally, they will be traveling to regional trade shows throughout the Southeast in year 1, and the 2 largest national beekeeping conferences in years 2 and 3. Here, they will have face-to-face interaction with commercial beekeepers, providing demonstrations and educating our primary consumers. Our monthly advertisements in the Bee Culture magazine and the American Bee Journal will increase brand awareness on a national level, while quarterly newsletters are published by state beekeeping associations, allowing for specific regional promotion. Our direct mailing will feature a bundled package of educational and informative print and digital media. Our website will be designed as an information source to answer any questions beekeepers may have about the use of Checkpoint. It offers instructional videos, regional treatment calendars, and current industry information, as well as connecting users to published research. Links to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram will reach beekeepers that are current with social media, and will be an excellent opportunity to create excitement and receive feedback for Checkpoint.
Educating our consumers about the effectiveness of Checkpoint will be vital to attaining our financial goals. In fact, in order to attain our initial market penetration goal of at least 10% in the Southeast, promotions will consume over 2/3 of our total expenses. In year 1, we will be able to capitalize on the proximity of producers to our headquarters, located in Atlanta, Georgia. As you can see, distribution costs are substantially less in year 1, as we already have distribution channels in place to get our products to the independent distributor. We will allocate $10,000 each to attend 3 different regional trade shows in year 1, and $15,000 each to attend 2 national trade shows in years 2 and 3. Additionally, we will spend $70,000 on the design and development of print materials featured in our magazine ads, our direct mailing, as well as our promotional materials. In year 2, we move on to the North Central region, where we plan on securing 20% of the over 750,000 commercial colonies in this region, as well as increasing market shares in the Southeast to nearly 40%. Accounting for repeat purchases, we'll sell over 225,000 Checkpoint housing units and over 500,000 polymer panels, exceeding our break-even point by over $800,000 in year 2. By year 3, the market will be abuzz, with testimonials about the simple, efficient, and reliable Checkpoint. Market shares in the Southeast and North Central region will exceed 50% and will reach 30% into the West Coast region. Total sales volume will be over $5.5 million, our return on marketing will be over 300%, and profit margins will be over 40%, thus exceeding our financial goals. You can see just how profitable Checkpoint will be for Secure Ag. Always working to make sure we meet these goals, our quality control department will constantly monitor our current market share and consumer brand recognition, our sales and profitability goals, as well as our customer satisfaction and productivity. Weekly sales reports and targeted surveys will determine our current market penetration. If we're not meeting our market penetration goals, we'll need to assess the efficiency of our promotions and reallocate funds toward those avenues which are most effective in reaching our consumers. Our finance department will run monthly evaluations of sales, return on marketing, and profit margins to determine whether we're on track to reach profitability. If the case arises that we are 10% below our expectations, we will fail to reach our break-even point by the end of year 2. We'll need to assess our current market share and determine how to increase our current product adoption rate through our promotions. If we are 8% above expectations, we run the risk of product stockouts. We'll need to increase production and expedite distribution to ensure that independent distributors have adequate inventories. Customer satisfaction will be examined through testimonials, or if necessary, returns and complaints. If beekeepers are not completely satisfied with Checkpoint, we'll need to reassess our quality standards and determine the weaknesses causing negative feedback. Additional promotional spending will be needed to ensure these consumers that these issues are being resolved and that Secure Ag is dedicated to the beekeeping industry.
Checkpoint meets all 6 factors for new product success. There is a clearly identified need within a clearly identified market. Our innovative design offers distinct advantages over existing options, and an established supply channel will ensure availability. Checkpoint is in line with our company mission and current product offerings, and with $5 million in year 3 sales, it's definitely profitable. As the board of directors, we urge you to approve this marketing plan immediately, and we thank you for your time.
I have a question about the active ingredient. Actually, I have a couple. One, is it still on patent? All 3 of them.
Yes, all three active ingredients still are on patent. They're different classes of chemicals from our standard competitors, but they are chemicals that we have developed within the past year, and they are relatively new patents, actually.
Okay, wonderful. The second question is, you had indicated that you could buy the houses or the strips in packs of 10, and that only one chemistry would be released per year to manage that balance. What if you have somebody that has a smaller number of hives? How long do those last? Can they keep them? And what does that do to manage that 99% effectiveness?
They would be able to keep those. They're individually packaged, and it would have an extremely slight effect on that effectiveness. However, even if you repeat it for a full year, it's a maximum of about 2% decrease in effectiveness, and our target market all has at least 500 hives. So even if they have 9 or 10 strips left over, when you take that and reuse it next year, you're looking at well below 0.5% total decrease in effectiveness for that producer.
Fair enough.
I have 3 questions. It's in your marketing expense area and kind of expectations. 2 of your expenses, the web and the display booth, you show higher expenses in year 1 and then a decline in year 2 or 3. I would expect web design, most of that's up front, but in case of your booth, if you're going to expand other geographies, why would your expense go down in that case in year 2 and 3?
We will actually be using the same display booth and mostly the same materials for years 2 and 3. So the actual $10,000 that we allocate for years 2 and 3 are mostly for replacement and maintenance costs.
So then if you look at the next area there, your magazine costs, you've got $24,000. How much of that is production versus media?
That is actually, the $24,000 is dedicated all to our space cost. The design and the development is actually in our print materials.
Got it, okay. And your anticipation was a 75% brand awareness in year 3. Are you pretty confident that that kind of media will generate that kind of awareness of that many people?
Yes, sir. Our market research has indicated that through our trade shows, direct mailing, our magazine ads, we will be able to reach the vast majority of beekeepers, and by year 3, a 75% brand awareness is actually rather conservative.
I have a question on the housing and your panels. I'm taking it that all the miticide is inside the panel, correct?
That is correct. The housing is just a UV stabilized injection molded plastic, and its purpose is only to hold that panel, which contains all of the active ingredient.
And when we look at the housing, the sales of housing, we've got upwards of almost over 1.75 million in year 3 and 135 in the first year. This might be kind of a smart-ass question, but what would prohibit someone from just chopping a bunch of 1x2s, 18 inches long, and screwing them on the bottom of their things and buying only panels?
That would be a potential small impact. However, our housing is designed to hold that panel securely, and were you to do that, you couldn't guarantee that the panel would be held in place for the 42-day treatment period. So while that is a possibility, it would be very slight, because if you decrease the effectiveness of the product, then they've wasted that money that they spent on the panels in the effort to save money on the housing, which we know will hold that panel properly for at least 3 years before needing replacement.
I see a bunch of ag guys being really creative and mechanical, and I don't see the housing. I don't see the housing working, especially to a almost $2 million position in year 3. It's a great product. I just don't see that as being a reality.
That could be possible. However, even with a higher capital outlay with that housing, when you compare our effectiveness against the highest advertised effectiveness of our competitor, at a $200 per hive replacement rate, even in year 1 buying those housings, at a 500 hive producer, we're still saving them about $10 per hive when you consider not having to replace those extra hives that they would lose. And so even though they're having that capital outlay, even in year 1, we are more cost effective.
Okay.
So the panels themselves are exposed to the elements. Are you sure that water or moisture isn't going to detract from their efficacy? And when you're done, I know that you don't need a license to apply, but do you need to take special care to dispose of the panels when they're done being used?
I'm glad you asked that. Due to the manufacturing process, the miticide is molecularly laced throughout the plastic that the panel is made of, so there would not be any weathering from rain or UV rays from sunlight, because even if that very surface layer were to be slightly degraded, the miticide is throughout that panel. So especially within a 42-day period that you would be employing it, that would not be an issue. And additionally, what was the second half of your question?
Disposal.
Disposal. Due to the nature of the chemicals we'd be using, we would be using a ryanoid, an organochlorate, and a carbamide, which are very extremely safe chemicals that do not act on higher order animals. And due to that safety, they actually are landfill disposable. So they would be able to dispose of those with any of their other common waste.
A couple of questions. The first is, do we have a patent on the technology that puts the miticide in that panel?
Actually, yes, we do. We have other products. We also produce flea and tick collars for dogs and cats, and it's that exact same technology. So Secure Ag does already hold that patent.
Perfect. The second question was, in the promotions portion, you had mentioned that that North Central District was very important to the marketplace in general, but they didn't have any event, which was a possible downfall. Did you put any thought into possibly not doing direct mails or a print and doing an event specifically for them and owning that and getting goodwill through that way?
We have considered that event or that possibility. However, we don't believe that the effectiveness of reaching the consumers would be as high because there are relatively few commercial beekeepers compared to the southeast and west regions. Additionally, many of the North Central producers attend the trade shows in the San Diego trade show, so we would be hitting a lot of those producers at that trade show.
And in addition to that, our sales reps already have those established relationships since we are in the bee health industry. Since there are fewer commercial beekeepers in those regions, we actually have those sales representatives directly target those commercial beekeepers and work one-on-one with them buying our product.
I know I hammer on this quite a bit, but it's really important. What kind of primary research did you do? And if you did some, what did you do? How did you do it? What did you learn from it? I see a lot of people looking at each other.
Is this question directed more at our marketing plan, the background of our marketing?
I'm trying to find out if you talk to beekeepers at all.
Yes, sir. Our research was we had test trials, so we used one beekeeper in each of the three regions. So we were able to reach them. We also did a lot of research in the bee associations, each of the national bee associations, the American Beekeeping Association, as well as the Honey Association. We also were in contact with several of bee specialists at University of Florida through IFAS, Institute of Food and Agricultural Science. And we also did talk to several local beekeeping associations within the Gainesville and Florida area.
Okay, I would highly recommend at future times to gather a large enough universe to really take a look at your customer, because what you've given me here is a lot of good information about what they want to read, where they want to read it, and so forth. But unless you found out from that customer, it's not really real yet. So I would just say look at primary research a little tighter.
Yes, sir.
Beyond that, have you also looked at any kind of loyalty program if someone's going to be in the program that you might be able to cut them some costs? No, that's fine. That's okay. Down there? No, still thinking? No, I'm sure I've got some.
When you look at media, you've looked at beekeeping publications. Have you looked at any others, or do you think that that's the primary way to get to those individuals?
Absolutely. Beekeeping publications are one of the major sources of information that beekeepers get their information from. other publications are not going to be nearly as effective to reach those producers.
In addition to that, our publications, we do see as, since this is a niche market, they really rely on that source of information to find new techniques within the market. Besides the ones that are not being reached, well, they're all being reached through publication, but to capitalize on that with our trade shows and educational conference within those trade shows, those will further push our promotional efforts into why this product saves labor over any of the other products and why they should switch to this product.